Hi, this is my slideshow for the human rights essay. What is the meaning of human rights? What does it mean for people today? And how can we make sure everyone has fundamental human rights? So, with fundamental human rights, we're supposed to be making sure everyone has food, shelter, security, education, anything that they should need. The natural rights were the beginning of human rights. People have not always felt that everyone should be treated the same. We've had slaves and discrimination going on throughout years. But John Locke identified natural rights as life, liberty, and estate. This just shows that even back in the early days that even people back then thought that we should all have liberty in life, that we should have a way to be able to live. Human rights are for all humans. This doesn't matter what they are. All humans, regardless of race, sex, language, religion, or any other status, should have the same rights as everyone else. In 1945 and 1948, the General Assembly adopted the Universal Declarations of Human Rights, which lists 30 articles for human rights. Within these rights, it tells everything as of then that should be upheld for human rights. There is also the International Bill of Human Rights, and at the top of that has the Declaration. These have been translated into 500 different languages. That shows you that they mean for everyone, no matter who they are, to have these rights. So, what is considered a violation of human rights? Is the denial of the freedom of thought and movement that humans have legal rights to do and have. It's the denial of food, the denial of a place to live. And throughout history, we've seen this through everything. Some people are put into poverty and oppression over discrimination and the violations of human rights. We see this happening in workplaces and places of worship, and especially in today's society with the LGBTQ community, that they are not considered equal. They're considered beneath most people. One of the other types of violations is human sex trafficking. With human sex trafficking, that does not just mean that they are into sex only. Human trafficking can be that they are being sold for labor. 19% is labor trafficking. 81% is commercial sex trafficking. Although many think that women working in adult entertainment do it because they want to, researchers show that 70% of women who are trafficked into the commercial sex industry, which includes porn, strip clubs, massage parlors, and more here in the United States. In my early 20s, I worked at a place called Faces in Dallas, and this place makes me think of how to look at these industries, about why people are even in them. Working there, you knew that some of these people were there not just because they wanted to be, but because they were made to be. They were also being made to do shows and acts outside of the place. These were being made to be done by boyfriends and husbands, and even the business itself was having these girls go in to do other places. Another type of violation is homelessness. As I said at the beginning, we are supposed to make sure that everybody has a place to live. Homelessness is a human right, and for homelessness, it's a violation globally. In the United States, it is estimated that 553,742 people are experiencing homelessness on any given day. According to our calling in Dallas, 4 out of 5 people are homeless and unsheltered. And according to HUD, reported in 2020, 580,466 people experienced homelessness. That was a rising of 2.2% from 2019. According to the Arts from Streets web page, it showed that there are 4 different types of homelessness. Chronic homelessness is defined by being homeless for more than a year. This means that they are continuously homeless for that year, not that they've been in shelters or anything. They have been continuously homeless. The episodic homelessness has 3 episodes at least within that year. If it's 4, that is considered chronic homelessness. Transitional homelessness affects a person that is going through a significant life change or catastrophic event. This happens, people losing their jobs, people not even making enough on their paychecks, just an eviction, fires, all different types of things can put a person into a transitional homeless predicament. Hidden homelessness are people that are couch surfing. A lot of this is teenagers, but we have these even as an adult. But homeless runaway teenagers will go from one friend's house to another friend's house and be sleeping on their couch. That is considered homelessness. People become homeless for many different reasons. Some stay homeless for other reasons. Some homeless people have lost their identification cards for multiple reasons. Specifically in Dallas, our officials in Dallas go do homeless camp cleanouts. They do not warn the homeless people. They just show up and they just start grabbing stuff and throwing the stuff in the dumpsters. The people that are homeless, if they go to try to get the stuff back out of the dumpsters, will be in trouble and can go to jail over this. Because of this, they have lost multiple identifications. They lose their birth certificates. They lose their kids' birth certificates. And without any of this stuff, they cannot get into housing. They cannot go to a shelter. They cannot get food programs helping them. They are stuck because they do not have their identification anymore. How can we help fight for human rights? First, we need to fight for anything that we're believing in. We can do this by bringing awareness to all the subjects that we are fighting for. Then we need to be sharing our stories with everybody. This can be done social media, rallies, posters, any way that you think of. You can share. TikTok is even a great way. Another great way to help is to help volunteer. You can volunteer feeding the homeless. You can volunteer taking them blankets. You can volunteer going into the sex clubs and trying to advocate for people to get out of that. Making sure you're leaving the sex trafficking numbers around. There's multiple ways. My last slide before the work started is of me helping the homeless myself. And with that, I've worked at Our Calling by doing Bible studies. I've helped feed breakfast for the women's Bible study on Monday mornings. I went in and we do football rallies where we feed hundreds of people during the football season. I've worked at Share Ministries. At Share Ministries, I was the lead check-in lady. I helped get the boxes together to get the people the food. I was the first responder, which was equally to I went into the encampments and took food to them. I've also led the VBS for the low-income and homeless kids, and at that we taught them the Bible stories. We let them do projects, but we mostly did it to help feed these families. We fed the children while they were there. Their parents were allowed to come and eat also, and then we would send food home with each of these families. We also did fundraisers during that time to get school supplies for any of these kids. My last picture on there shows me standing with one lady, just me and her hugging. This was a lady that we helped get her off the streets. We helped provide her kids all the school supplies and school clothes they needed, including shoes. And we helped provide all the food that they were needing. We paid for their school, for their housing for a month. This is the family that, in my report that I talk about, that I try to help get into school systems, and the Sherman ISD was trying to hinder that. So, in closing, we absolutely need to make sure that every human has the rights that are supposed to be there. Make sure that they have food and shelter. Let's open up these shelters where it doesn't matter if they have an ID, they can still be in a shelter. Thank you.